Well, hello, and welcome back to our series on the practical steps that you can take to begin to move your career in the direction you want to go, get paid what you're worth, and hopefully even start to look forward to going to work on Mondays. In our last video, we talked about writing a traditional resume. And that one was just a normal, ordinary, boring thing that we had to get out of the way. From here on out, throughout the rest of the series, the things that we talk about are going to be, I'm going to say, more off the wall, out of the box type of concepts and principles that maybe you're not as familiar with. And so in this video, we're going to talk about building a portfolio. Now, I know what you're thinking, that portfolio is nothing unique. You know what a portfolio is. Every model, every photographer, interior decorator, anybody in a creative space has a portfolio. Nothing out of the box, nothing out of the box there, right? Except for people who are not in the creative space. If you do not have a more creative job, my guess is you don't have a portfolio, right? But have you thought about creating one? A portfolio is simply a visual display of your skills and accomplishments. And so in the creative space for models, photographers, etc., it's very easy to figure out how that would be, what it would look like, right? Photos and visual representations of what they've done. But if you are a receptionist, if you are a Uber driver, or any other normal job, non-creative job, how in the heck do you create a portfolio, and why would you do such a thing? All right, excellent question. This is where the out-of-the-box thinking comes in, because think about this. Let's just use a photographer as an example, right? So a photographer goes to meet with a client, lays out their portfolio, the client looks at it, and they aren't impressed with the fact that the photographer, they might be impressed with the portfolio, but they aren't going to be impressed with the fact that the photographer presented a portfolio, because of course all photographers have a portfolio, all models, all people in the creative space have a portfolio, right? So there's nothing memorable or unique about that. But what if, going back to my previous statement, what if an Uber driver goes and lays out a portfolio? Whoever expected a Uber driver to have a portfolio? That's completely unexpected, right? And it is how would an Uber driver even create a portfolio? What would that even look like? Exactly the point. Most people aren't going to even think about this. If you were to do it, it would be so unexpected, so exceptional. It would be memorable to whoever was looking at this, because it's unique and obviously challenging. If you were to do it well, that's impressive, right? So as with most things in life, value is proportional to difficulty. If it was easy to do and everybody did it, it's not valuable. But if it's hard to do and nobody else is doing it, well, then all of a sudden you stand out from the crowd. And in this way, it gives you something to leverage. As you get into the coaching part of this, it gives you something to leverage, right? Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the fact that a traditional resume can be done in an hour or two. Maybe you work on it really hard and put in 3 or 4 hours. A portfolio is something, it's a picture of your entire life's work. And that's what I want you to think about as you think about how you would even create a portfolio for your unique job, for your unique life, for your skill sets and achievements. This really is a picture, a representation of your life's achievements, all of your skills, all of your accomplishments. And it is something that you build over the course of a lifetime. You write out your resume, and unless you get a new job or a new degree or something, your resume is what it is. You can pull it out of the sock drawer a year from now and send it off. It really doesn't change unless something significant in your life changes. Your portfolio is completely different, because you are strategically, intentionally working, trying to figure out what you can add and how you can add to it. You are building this thing, it is your life's work. Your career is not your life's work. Your building your portfolio is your life's work, because it is a picture of you, of what you can do, what you're capable of. And that's so important to understand, that every time you make an addition to your portfolio, you increase your value. Not because your portfolio is bigger and has a new picture in it, or a new graph or chart or anything else, any other type of visual display of what you can do. It isn't the addition, it's the fact that in order to make that addition to your portfolio, you had to do something. You had to achieve something. You had to learn something. You had to further perfect a skill. And it is the fact that this is nothing more than proof of what you've done and what you can do, that the more you add to it, the more valuable you become. Again, this is you're working on building this thing up so that you have something to leverage for better outcomes, right? Now, it is up to you exactly how you build your portfolio. You are a unique person. You have unique skills. You have a unique background. So your portfolio isn't going to look like anybody else's. People in a creative field, say a model, right? So you look at a model's portfolio, and then you look at the next model's and the next model's portfolio. And essentially they're all portfolios, right? They're going to look somewhat similar. They're going to try to do something to make it unique and stand out, but essentially they're the same thing. Yours is going to be different because you're in a field where nobody does this. And so how you put it together is going to be unique. And I don't want to put you in a box and say, okay, this is how you should do it. The real value is in you doing the work to figure this thing out and create a representation that is uniquely yours. The most important thing is that you just get started, right? It is something you're going to be working on for the rest of your life. And so it doesn't have to be perfect today. It just has to be something. You create a portfolio, boom, I put one thing in there, and maybe that one thing is trash and I'm going to delete it and change it or whatever. But you did it. You started. And now you look at it and you develop a strategy. Okay, how do I want this thing to be? And so you're constantly modifying it and changing it. But you're working on it, and working on it is the most important thing. You're started. You're in motion. You have something tangible to develop, and the better job you do at developing it, the more value you have to leverage in the negotiating table as you begin to negotiate for better positions, more pay, and the career that you want. All right. We are going to continue developing these unique ideas. We're going to take this portfolio and then we're going to move on to the next thing. And as we move through this series, step by step, we're going to continue to build this out. And you're going to see, by the time you get to the end of this, you're going to see something of real tangible value. All right. Look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you.